Hello, loves. It's Sonia G. This is a surprise live because I felt like it. I really did. So we're not in our usual spot, but we had things to talk about, things that were just like burning up, and I couldn't do like a million stories about it. So we're talking about the things and the timing of the things in Ascension and the timing of my Christmas tree that's still up. I was gonna have you over looking at the white winter wonderland, but by the time I went and got my light and everything, it's like we don't have that anymore. It's like all darkness outside. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Hi, loves. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you guys. Happy Sunday. We haven't done this on a Sunday in a minute. So I felt this morning, and that's why I said on a post, but I kind of want to explain to you really how I feel, because it's been strong in my mind and my heart all day. And it's not just today, but it's just a feeling that I recognized, okay? And, as we're kind of like going through this shift, the shifting of things. And yesterday I was even looking at you're in the moment of processing with me. Can you tell? Like, you're really like, welcome to my insides and how I feel. Yesterday I was looking at the Year of the Water Rabbit, because it switches on the 22nd of January. We're in the Chinese Year of the Water Rabbit. And I was looking at the cyclical nature of this energy in this year, according to Chinese astrology. And this year is associated to the last time this was a thing, there's a cycle with 2019. And I don't want to say it wrong, but I was looking at it and I was like, isn't that very interesting? And the feeling that I feel, the reason why I was looking this up is because I felt this energy current that's coming back for a sense of urgency on something new. It was an urgency on like a new level of things. And it was about this message that I have been just preaching about, telling, pep talking, all sorts of things about, which has to do with our relationship with money and making the money, okay? And obviously, of course, I'm teaching a course about money right now because I feel really strongly about it. But what I just recognized is that it's the feeling of how I feel about telling you guys that it's time to unlock this understanding of how to make money. It's time to really stop being lazy about what we're capable of accomplishing. And I include myself in this conversation too, because I am capable of more. We're all capable of more. And I felt this urgency the same way of delivering this message and getting it across, like this passion, for telling you like, wake up and make money, which is not my usual message, okay? But I feel it so strongly, and I feel it in the same way that I felt when I was telling you guys to meditate and learn how to talk to your guides and your angels and use the light protocols and do it in a way that was safe and learn all of the ways. It was like, holy shit, this is the last time I felt this feeling, was when people were beginning to understand. And it was that kind of time frame, 2019. It was when I was like, fuck it, I'm going to teach the things, I'm going to teach the things, and it's going to be called the Metaphysical Mastermind. And I'm going to talk to the people about the star beings and the angels. And I went wild on teaching you all of this metaphysical knowledge, because to the extent that I obviously knew it, and it's been updated since, but I felt like it had to be taught because life was about to change. And these were so important things, like such important things, right? To learn how to discern and how to know for yourself, when you're talking to an actual angel, or when you're talking to a discarnate entity that was somebody's grandpa that never crossed over to the other side and actually has no business being in your energy field telling you how to do anything, okay? So there are methods, there's an understanding of all of these different like psychic senses. There's things to know about all the different light worker superpowers. And it was that time. That was the time to learn those things. It was a time for me to teach those things. And it was bursting from inside of me, even though, it was so crazy to teach about these things online. And I recognized that same feeling and that same sense of urgency and that same feeling of like, oh my God, like this is important. It's bursting inside of me in the same way. And this time it's about money. And because money is so different than me teaching you about your guides and your angels and the star beings, I feel like maybe I haven't communicated it in the same way because I am, it's also like I'm newer at teaching about these things, even though I talk about money all the time because you know that I'm a big proponent of let's make money and, let's get money in the hands of the people that are going to do good things in the world and let's live the life that we came to live. So with all of this, I realized that the people that do you see the parallel, right? At that time when I felt this way, I was teaching you about how to communicate with guides and angels and star beings. And now I feel the same sense of urgency about telling you and teaching you how to make money and earn money and attract money in a positive way. And what happened since I taught you about the angels and the guides and how to create your connection to higher self, how to travel through all of the chakras, right? And we mapped out the cosmos and we mapped out the way to do this in a way that is safe and healthy and functional and, of the light, and to do this in a way that is supportive of, your physical health, your mental health, like all of these things, how to do all this cool stuff in a positive way. Now there's a bunch of people that are doing it wrong. And I'm just going to say it. And the reason why they're doing it wrong is because they haven't taken the time to learn the things when the energy was ripe for learning those things. And what's happening out there now is there's a bunch of people on TikTok that just label themselves like they know things. And some people do, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people actually don't. And there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of disinformation. I've been talking about this with a lot of like friends and just other higher level, I want to say coaches and teachers, right? And people that we have been doing this for a while, and we're looking at these kids, and it's like, they don't know what they're doing. And the energy is getting polluted. I recently had a personal friend, who let me say it like this. Children and kids, okay, and younger generations get in trouble with energies that because they don't know what's right and what's wrong. They don't know how to discern. They don't have the teachings and the knowledge, and everything is now open. It's open, and it's harder to tell now if you don't have the skills to understand who you're talking to and who you're working with and who you're dealing with. It's a lot harder now. It's more confusing, right? It's more saturated out there. In the astral planes, it's saturated. There's a lot of floaties. There's a lot of energy going on. The people that know how to do this have phenomenal, fantastical experiences. The people that don't know how to do this are struggling, feeling heavy, feeling burdened, feeling the ascension symptoms, feeling like they don't know if they can trust that they're talking to their guides and angels or if they're not. Feel like they're getting disinformation, right? That's what I was saying. I had a friend that ended up in the hospital out of thinking that, they were talking to an entity who, that was not it. That was not it. Ended up in the fucking hospital. So I was like, this is the thing. It's like, I know that I sound like, like a hammer, like, hear me, listen to me, like, this is important. And I've been doing this shit, but I feel the responsibility of it because then when I don't, and when people don't know what they're doing, then shit happens and shit shows happen, right? So I have to tell the things that I know, are meant to be told. And I feel the same way about money. So I don't know right now. So I don't know how things are shifting. Obviously, there's shifting. There's shifting of the markets. We know that there's shifts that are coming. There's financial shifts that are coming. Our world is changing in many ways. This is like a whole new layer of things. So, but I feel that sense of urgency. And I feel it for myself. And I feel it for you guys. Like, I feel it like, holy shit, the time has come for people to really understand how the money game is played. And it is a game. It is a game of consciousness. It's a game of alignment, and it's a game of understanding how to work with it. And a lot of people just are going to skip it, right? Are going to skip learning this, and then they're going to probably find themselves in some parallel of what's happening right now with, the astral planes. The astral planes are like a rough place to be, man, if you are not in, I want to say, in control. If you're not focused, if you don't know the rules and the laws and what you're doing, it's like the riffraff of the universe is hanging out in our astral planes. So you have to know how to navigate. And I feel like some kind of a parallel of that may eventually happen, as we unravel this thing that has to do with money. The concept of money is shifting. The value of money is shifting. It's kind of like this, shifty kind of energy right now in the markets and the things and everything that's like being reflected in the physical world. But money is energy, just like angelic presences are energy, just like ancestor spirits are energy. And when we understand that it's an energy and we learn how to utilize it, then, obviously it's different. It's not like calling on your grandma that's on the other side. It's like you're working with an energy that's manifested in a transactional kind of way, in a sense of money. And I know so much that this is an uncomfortable subject for a lot of people. It's hard to talk about it. We don't want to deal with it. Right? Don't want to deal with it. Like, I know I need to make more money. Like, wouldn't life be better if we all made more money? Well, yeah, obviously, right? Like, wouldn't it be easy? Wouldn't it be this? Wouldn't it be that? Like, there's so much of that energy, and so many people that have now been conditioned by disinformation campaigns that have been on the internet that are just like, whatever, you should just make money for sitting on your ass. You should just probably, be paid to be you. And that's it. Because there's a lot of people that are like campaigning this stuff about like being paid to be you. Well, there's lots of many layers of you, and being the you that is sitting on the couch and watching Netflix is probably not that version that the people are meaning, right? It's not the you that sits on the couch, but it's the you that's like, showing up in the world, that's teaching the things that you were meant to be teaching, or doing the service that you were meant to be, bringing forth on planet Earth, like that you're birthing the things that, are from within, that are meant to be shared in the world. If you're doing your part, the part that you were meant to be doing, that's, some of the things that people are talking about. And the reason why I feel so strongly about it is because there's a part of me that sees this timeline, and I'm sure you guys do too. And it's one of those timelines that we don't necessarily want to talk about because we don't want to put power into it. We don't want to give it power, but we also just want to be over here watching it and being aware of it in a way that doesn't give it power. And there's a whole timeline that's happening where, the people in the powers that be, which is how we'll call them, to not trigger any things, are having this whole rollout plan of getting people addicted to, the help of the government, to like different ways of doing life that is actually it's not healthy. They're reducing people to cogs in an economy. They're reducing the value of life down to a consumer little token with a number, and they want to have basically people owned, right? And if they pay you to live, they're going to owe you. So like people need to figure out how to have this independence. People need to like just dig up the fucking courage to figure shit out on their own and detach, right? And figure out, hey, I can actually earn money, attract money, make money, claim money that is meant for me, that was meant, that was probably robbed from my ancestors too, but it's meant for me now. I get to claim it, and I get to claim it in a way that is aligned, and that is the way that it was meant meant for me. There is success to be had. And you're watching people, there's a lot of people that are starting to climb, right? You can feel it. There's a movement forward. There's people that are starting to break through. And if you're not part of this movement, if you don't hitch a ride, like if your train isn't like, if you're not claiming a ticket on this train, the train's gonna fucking go, and then it's gonna be too far, and you're gonna be too far on the ground, and the leap is gonna feel so heavy, and then you're gonna be like, I can't do it. It feels like mud. I can't get there. It's just too far. I'm We're here. Are we here? Okay, that was Henry. Sorry, loves. I'm gonna call him back. So, Henry, if you watch this in a minute, we're in the middle of a conversation here. So, but, I see that happening, and I see the people that are just going to fall back and be like, fuck, I'm so worn out. I'm so worn out. Stop telling me about all these dramatic things that are happening in the world. I know, like, this is so hard, and life is so hard, and it's such a struggle. There's a lot of people that are imploding under that, and they can barely even get out of bed, and it's really hard, and mental health is a struggle, and you keep imploding, and you get smaller and smaller and fucking smaller, and then you just hide out, and all you want is for the government to give you a check to live. At that point, you have lost your will to live. At that point, you have lost the value of your life. At that point, you have turned over your life to the people that want to take over this whole planetary situation, right? And we know this. We understand this, but for some reason, even at these, levels of people that are awakened, we're not understanding. People are not understanding that the money has to be made. Like, it has to be made and claimed and be received and be accepted. And the work has to be done for us to be able to claim these chunks of money that are available on planet Earth, because it's our responsibility to change the planet, right? And we're going to change it in a way that is good, that is supportive, that is in love. But a lot of things aren't going to move forward unless we all have this money and we change the economy by just us making a big difference, making big transactions, making big moves, by us not purchasing things, right? Like shifting the way. Can you imagine like such a ginormous like wealth shift of where the money is going on this planet, that we actually shift the products, that we shift the way that things are made, that we shift the sustainability of what we're doing on the planet. This is where we're going. But we're not going to get there, by picketing and things like that. Yes, that, sometimes it's helpful, and like peaceful protests, it's a thing, but on this planet, it is, the money is changing the things, and having the money. Can you imagine if a chunk of us light worker were the ones that bought Twitter, or we're the ones that bought Instagram? Can you imagine having that kind of money to actually have the ability to get in the mix of things with like a social media platform and like get on that level? And when people want to do like, the censoring, the bullshit, when the stuff comes in, and you're just like, let's put some money on it. Let's make some people go away. Let's shut some people up so that they don't censor things, whatever. It's a world where money talks. And so it's like, why are we not playing ball on this level? Why are we not thinking bigger? We're here bitching, because I know that we all do. And like, the light worker shadow sides, like there's a lot of bitching about things that are not changing, but are we actually changing them, right? Are we actually the ones that are changing? Or are we sitting here screaming at other people saying, don't you see that the world is going to hell? Well, what are we doing about it, right? Like, there has been so much information shared that it's become disinformation, and we're all just going in loops, and we don't even know where this information is coming from. And so it's like the time has come to disconnect from this like bandwagon of disinformation and of things that are happening, I'm curious to see now what they're starting to talk about, like all the UFOs things. Let's see what happens. That's why I'm like, those of us that know how to talk to star beings and how to talk to, and recognize who is on ships and who is, wanting to communicate with people on Earth, These are now the people that are going to have the power. Everybody else is going to be so confused whether they're talking to an actual like entity of light or entity of dark, right? Because this is like real life on planet Earth, 2023. It's really happening. So in any case, somewhere along the lines, money's going to play a part in this whole thing. And I don't know how things are, shifting. Obviously, it's not like I'm here predicting the future, but we all feel it, right? We feel that there's a shift in the money consciousness. And it's our responsibility to do our part, because if we don't get in the middle of this energy as it takes off, we're going to be left behind, because this is what happens. There's a timing of things in Ascension. Look, I'm going to grab my little baby Christmas tree because this is such a good way of showing you this. I love this. I still have Christmas all over. Ascension is like this, right? It keeps going up. It's like a spiral. We keep going up and up and up. This part where you start at the very bottom, this first loop, is the biggest. This is where we're at right now. It's a new energy. It's a new level. In this loop of understanding how to do these things, this is the biggest. You're going to have to go all the way around. As you keep going up, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So at the top, as you get to these layers at the top, it gets easier and you get better because you have skills, because you started with the energy flow, right? The people that like start with the energy movement forward, they're the ones that are pioneering, they're starting, they're going to get there first. And sometimes it takes people a little bit, right? They're like, let's see if this is like a thing that I really want to do. I don't know. I'm contemplating it. And then what happens is you have to leap it, which is totally fine. Sometimes I'm one of the people, I'm like, I don't know. Is this really a thing? Do we really need to like hitch on this train? And then I'm like, fuck it. Let's hitch on this train, like this energy current. Like, this is exactly what we need to do. And it's better to make the leap now than it is to wait. And then the leap is this big and then it feels like not doable, right? Have you ever done this with like mentors and with people that you wanted to hire or things that you wanted to purchase, and then the price goes up and you're like, shit, I should have bought that, right? I should have done that. I remember there's so many ways in which, I hired mentors and I was like, I know right now it's my time. And the investment was so huge. It was like one time I sent out like 50 grand and I was like, to hire a mentor, but I knew it was my moment. And after that, short after that, a few months after that, she closed out her mastermind. And it's like, and that was it. And there's no more getting a hold of her, in the lives or working with her one-on-one, because that time expired. That time was done. People think that things are going to be available forever. And it's not like that. Right? It's not like that, because they're not available forever. A lot of people are like, next time you launch this or next time you launch that, who knows if I'm going to launch it? We don't know how things are shifting, right? As of right now, a lot of things are pivoting, and there's a lot of courses that I probably will not be doing live. I'll still launch things, but they won't be live in the way that they have been, because this is a new era. We're beginning a new era, and it's starting this chunk of time, this new slice, this new, it's like a new chunk system. The next time we're going to have another year of the rabbit, it's 2035. So this is like the chunk that's taking us to 2035. That's the year where a lot of different people have predicted like something, is shifting, something, the astrology, like in every way you look at it, that's a year where something is going to massively shift on planet Earth. And I'm like, okay, here we are, right? So following this, understanding this, like jumping on it. And really important. That's what I want to tell you. Don't sit on your ass. Don't try and wait this out. How do I wrap this out? Because I kind of came on like raw. I didn't really have like things prepared to tell you, but I felt the energy, right, of like wanting to say these things. But just the time is now to understand how to make money, earn money, spend money, feel about money, heal the money wounds, all things related to money. If you're not where you want to be when you look at your bank account, now is the time to commit to changing that. This is the moment. The energy is up. It's like it's starting. There's an energy current. And if you don't catch it, prices are going to go up in the world. You're not going to be able to buy the things. You're going to feel like you have to work so much harder to catch up with everybody because the prices are here and you used to buy here. Now you have to buy here and you just don't have the money. So now you feel even more deprived. You feel even more in scarcity because there's a distance. Does that make sense? So you don't want the world to get this big of a head start on you. You want to start now, right? So make sure that you're doing something. One of the reasons why I now added an 11-month payment plan to the Money Rush course. I really feel it. That's why I call this course Money Rush, because we are in a rush. Like, this is a moment where it's like, let's catch this current. Let's get swimming over the top. Let's ride this energy wave on top. And it's easier when at the beginning you have like the training wheels and you can take lift off in an energy that like pushes you, supports you, because it is a push up, right? It's a push of motivation. It's a push of like, movement forward. It's kind of this energy. That doesn't mean that there's no beingness and there's no openness and there's no like amazing feminine, like receiving energy and grounded energy. I mean, a lot of the key to receiving money is actually the ability to truly be grounded. So, and then of course there's beliefs. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to it. On Tuesday, which is our next module 2, of Money Rush, we are going to go over and adjust our timelines according to, we're going to figure out everyone's dual belief systems. And I have a formula for identifying that in the way that I've done it, because a lot of times people don't realize that they want something, but there's something inside of them that is like cock blocking your receiving, like it's not allowing you to receive, and you don't understand because you keep doing all of these things and you're doing your feminine and you're doing your dancing and you're doing your receiving, but nothing is like moving, right? Nothing is like actually shifting. And it's like, why is this not happening? I'm opening to receive. I'm doing the feminine things. This is what I was saying, the dancing, like there's a lot of like, let's open up to receive and the magic of all of these things. But is it really happening, right? Is it actually coming in? And when it's not, it's because in your subconscious, there's a belief, there's a gene, it's in your DNA. And that's the subconscious shit that a lot of people don't want to get into and dig. You have to dig. Otherwise, it's kind of like if you're swimming forward and you're swimming and you're like, but I'm going in the right direction. I see the island. It's right there. I'm swimming. But you have like the anchor that's still tight to you and it's pulling you back and you like can't make it, right? So it's like we have to like disengage our weights and our balls and chains and our old beliefs, and then we have to like, if you have that rocket fuel, if you have that turbo button that you can push and get over the hump, you're gonna have an easier time getting there, right? It's easier. So that's why I did this course, because it's a rush. It's a fast energy and you kind of get this turbo, behind you where it's more motivating, because I'm sorry, but doing like a little money by a little money, it's good. It's better than not, right? But isn't it more fun and more motivating when you can make a chunk? Like if you can actually just make a chunk and then believe in yourself that, holy fuck, I did that. Like, I actually did that. Now I know that I can do this. Now I can breathe. Now I know that I can do it again, right? And any time that you need a burst, you'll know exactly how to do it. You'll know what practices to use. You'll know how to move through it. You'll have the manual, you'll have the meditations, you'll have all the resources, you'll have the modules forever. So anytime, so let's just say once a quarter, you decide, you know what, I'm going to work this program again and I'm going to get a boost, right? And that's it. And then I'm going to take it easier in the other, months or whatever, or just like twice a year or whatever, whenever you need it. And, you just kind of like keep leveling up, but you have the burst. And when we have that, it's just more encouraging. You don't have to like feel down on yourself, right? You don't have to question yourself. So anyways, that course is called Money Rush, and you can register up until the 17th, and then I'm closing it out because we are starting on module 2. So You can go now. And I don't know, maybe I'll keep it open because I do feel strongly about it. So let's like stop saying that I'm going to close it out. But I can tell you for sure that as every module is recorded, the price will go up. Maybe that's what we'll do because it will be more complete. Those of you that jump on courses with me when I am recording them live, we have live things. We have technical things. Oh my gosh, on module 1, there were issues with the Zoom, and I was on the different Zoom, and I was like, oh my gosh, did nobody get the email? And then we figured out that everybody else was like on a different Zoom, so we like switched it over. Shit happens because it's live, right? It's not perfect. That's why you get a deal, right? You get a discount the first time that I launch things because then we perfection them, if that's even a word, but we make them perfect later. So that's at moonbabetribe.com/money rush. Okay. And it's here at Moonbabes and the Light Tribe in the link in my bio. You click on Money Rush. So go and feel it out. And if you're looking for support, if you're looking for a group where you can be like, honest about things and there's no judgment and the energy will propel you forward where there's this vortex, right? And you want to work with me on these things and you've seen, maybe you've seen it or maybe you just feel it, but the energy of where I live, right? And the journey that it's taken to get here and all the things that I've learned, going from broke to, almost multi-million-dollar business. We're almost there. We're going to get there this year. I'm so excited. But the point is that there's work to be done and there's skills to be implemented. And a lot of people don't realize that it's the skills that make a difference, right? So those of us that figure it out, we're in charge of teaching things. And that's how it works. So I want to teach you these amazing tools. And yeah, if you want to be in this place where you get supported and you feel empowered and you know that it is possible and you get to be like, cheerleaded on, in a sense, which I think is very valuable because so many times we get discouraged, and we forget, that's why like my pep talks here on Instagram have always been favorites because, we want the encouragement and it is important and it's a world that tears you down. So let's encourage each other, right? To be better, to do better, to reach higher, to really go for it. So yes, looking forward to Tuesday. Yay, Christine, I'm so happy. I'm looking at the love and the hearts. Yay, love that. I'm so happy that you guys are feeling it and you're feeling all of this combo. So catch the moment, catch the ride, work with me, work with someone else. I don't know why this phone keeps moving. I feel like it keeps moving somehow. It's in the same place. So, do your work and don't get lazy about it. That's the biggest thing that I want to say is don't get lazy about it. This is going to be a year. The energy of this year is going to be easy to be like, oh man, I'm just going to coast. Oh man, I'm just going to be like, let me just get through this one, right? It's going to be like that. There's going to be some Pluto moves. There's going to be some there's going to be some things. So don't do it later. Do it now. Figure this stuff out now. This is important, right? It's a thing whose time has come. It's a concept. It's a lesson. It's a knowingness. It's a thing to conquer whose time has come. And if you don't grab it, the people that will are going to get ahead and then you're going to feel, left behind. And it's kind of like one of those things. So you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the person that's confused right now, trying to figure out how to talk to your guides and angels and figuring out which mentor to hire because there's so many. I mean, luckily you're here. So that I am very strict about those things, that my light protocols are I was telling my mom today, I'm like, this is why I get so into these things is people don't know how to do this stuff right and then they end up in trouble. I had a message today from someone asking me here on Instagram if it's a good idea to buy a Ouija board. And I was like, no, absolutely not. We're in the opposite direction. People don't realize the darkness that is attached to these, divination kind of methods and to all of this stuff. They don't realize the shit show that they bring into their life and these entities, and the darkness of the world is increasing and that shit attaches to people. It attaches to people. This week I had to remotely clear a person, or I helped literal intervention. And it was such dark energy that I had to clear for 3 days, you guys. For me to clear for 3 days. Imagine what kind of shit this person had gotten into. I was like, oh my gosh, we need to like level up. Like, it's crazy. Stop like being in the gray areas. This is not a time to be in the gray areas, right? Like, you need to know where you stand. And this is like another thing. Yeah. So don't do those things. Like, it is time for us to really use, all of our mental faculties turned on, all of our discernment, our spirit on, higher self, like implementing all of the things. And on top of that, being the people that make the money. Like, we have to do it all. We came to claim it all, and it is safe to do it all. We can do it all. We don't have to burn out to do it all. We can do it all in alignment. But if we take time for laziness and for contemplation or for non-action is also an action. Non-action is a choice, right? When we don't make a choice and we stay in that dilemma, the energy gets used in the dilemma instead of making a move forward. So don't stay in those gray areas. It doesn't serve anybody. It just creates more chaos and, more of this like, kind of energy in your life, and it never moves you forward. So, right? Like, make choices, get clear, stay in the clarity. It gets easier as you keep doing it. This is important. I love you. I said so many things. I see all the hearts. I will see you again on the Moon Babe. It's Monday Night Live tomorrow. I love you. It's Sonia G. Go to moonbabetribe.com for all the things. And also, heads up, a lot of things are going to be changing soon. So I may have a new website URL for you. So make a note of that. I love you. Mwah.